Hello, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a 5x5 mini album layout that I titled Be Happy, and I'm using an unnamed paper pack that I've had in my scrap stash for many years. So it's just a very old paper pack. And I have been working on this 4x6 kind of traveler's notebook style journal mini album. And I was running out of space for this, so I decided to start with a new page. And this one is actually the cover. So this is the inside of the cover, and so it's slightly larger actually than a 5x5. The actual album size will be 5, or for the actual album pages, they will be 5x5 in size. But this one is slightly larger. I think mostly wider, a little bit taller, but mostly wider than a 5x5. But anyway, it's for a 5x5 mini album. So I have these strips that I prepared, and they will just go across the page there. And I like that it is a smaller than, it's not a 6x6 page, so even some of my border dies work really well for this, because some of my border dies, they're not 6 inches long, and so for this 5x5 album I can use them very nicely. So I'm very happy about that. And I am also excited to try out some of these old scrapbook papers that I've had for so long. These are very thin papers. They're not really high quality, but they're just enough for this kind of project. And I'm very glad that my glue, I'm using liquid glue as always, but it does not warp my papers, even if I work with thin paper. So I'm very happy with the glue that I'm using, and glad that even though it is liquid glue, it does not warp my pages. It dries fast. It gives me just enough time so I can move things around, but it dries in seconds basically, so things get settled onto the page in seconds. So that's just right for me. So now I'm basically done with the background of this page, and that's just to create this the impression as if that purple paper in the background there goes all across. But I didn't want to waste unnecessary paper when it is going to be covered up for a good part there, so I just created this small strip and then this larger paper strip. Then I have printed these. You see these photos are tiny, but they don't really have that much information. It's just about bees in in a tree that was blossoming. And I had thought that when I printed them out in exactly the size that's right for a die cut film strip that I have, but for some reason I must have measured wrongly, but they ended up being larger than the original film strip that I had actually intended them for. And it's weird because even the film strip has 5. I don't know what I was doing when I was doing the measuring. I must have been goofing off somewhere. But anyway, I just put a mat behind the photos and created a mat there for them, and I think that just worked out just as fine as if I had a film strip. Then I have this, I wanted to have a little journaling spot, which I'm usually pretty lazy on adding journaling and all that, but it just turned out just perfectly here that I have one of my I have a scalloped circle die cuts. So I just used some of my purple cardstock there, and then used that, and then with the scalloped circle, and then one of my smaller circle dies to cut the inside of that label so that I could start and write my journaling there. Then I created this flower. It's also a die cut piece, and I have a tutorial on this channel where I share how I create super easy, very fast, these paper flowers with dyes and watercolor. So I'm not someone who wants to spend hours and hours creating flowers, as some of the other artists that you can find on YouTube do, where they spend hours and hours just for one single flower, or not hours, but quite a bit of time. And I don't want my scrapbook pages to take as much time. I don't have as much time in the day, so I just found this very nice method to watercolor the flowers. It goes fast. It takes me just a minute or two to work on a flower, and then it's ready for being used on my pages. So then I had used my silhouette to cut a whole bunch of titles with some of my prettier fonts. Thought to just mix things up a bit from only using those alpha dyes. So because I do have also some pretty alphas or fonts on my computer, so I just watercolored that in a similar color that runs with the theme, that title there, B, and then I stamped the word happy. I guess I have a stamp that just says happy there. And then I have this little bug. It's a bee that I decided, instead of doing the traditional black, yellow and black, I just decided to go with the colors that are running on this page and do a purple, light purple kind of bee. And I think I just watercolored it also because I happened to have I don't think I had matching colors and cardstock, so it's always easier for me to just watercolor things where I can get a very similar color that I'm using on the page. So I did that and added this. So I like that. I just went a little away from the traditional black and yellow and added this. So anyway, here are some more word strips, and then this is my page finished. I'm going to leave you with some more close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.